want to introduce a speaker that I've been around again for over a decade. Next level information. I mean, so many things that I've learned from this individual, and my health has been in a better place. I know a lot of times when you are in business, you just run around business, but it's all to get rid of your health because you're chasing wealth. And then now we're saying, man, we're going to increase our wealth because we're healthy. And so I want to bring my good friend, Mr. Todd Smith. Are you there, my friend?
I'm here, Andre Vaughn. Can you hear and see me all right?
I can hear and see you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that great introduction, Andre. It's great to be here with you. And I have to agree completely with the things you said that, why spend so much time trying to prepare for retirement, saving money, we're earning money, all the things we do, if we're not going to make sure that we have our health to enjoy it. And so that is the message for today. And as I sent out in the text that at the end of the presentation, we're going to open it up to answer questions. And so just as Andre said, if the question isn't necessarily for you, that's okay. You can ask questions for others. But what we are trying to do here at Top Shelf Nutra is to, extend life, but extend quality of life along with that extension. And we all want that for all of our family, our friends, our neighbors, the people we care about and love. And so that's kind of the preface to this. Let me go ahead and share my screen and let's get started here. Andre, can you give me a thumbs up if we're seeing the right slides?
I see Top Shelf Nutra. Welcome to.
Perfect. That's what we want. All right. So I do want to welcome you to Top Shelf Nutra. And what we want to talk about is the situation that we are experiencing, and that is an alarming increase in disease. More and more people are getting to retirement age, to the age that they've worked towards and saved towards, and then finding out, guess what? I can't do all the things that I had planned to do because I don't have my health. And these aren't my statistics. These are statistics that you can go look up and verify. But just in the last 30 years, we've had a 41% increase in deaths, a percentage increase in deaths from heart disease, 45% increase in asthma, a 50% increase in digestive disorders, 50% increase in allergies, a 250% increase in epilepsy. We have 3 times as many people with diabetes, 3 times as many people having struggles with fertility, and a 783% increase in Alzheimer's, over 4,200% increase in autism. So it's affecting the old all the way down to the young and everyone in between. And one of the things that's interesting, last night, I was watching a couple programs with my daughter, and every ad, she asked me, she said, why is every ad about people losing their memory, people having to wear something because their blood sugar, because they have to monitor their blood sugar, and so they have to wear these things on the arm, or people who are struggling with energy and digestion problems. I mean, every ad through the 2 hours we were watching these programs, it was just every advertisement was talking about one or more of these things. And I talk about this all the time, but I had never really seen. Here's my 11-year-old daughter watching a show with me, and she comes back to me and she says, "It seems like every ad is about people getting sick and struggling." And it's because the reality of these statistics is this has created quite a market, right? And as long as you don't get people better, you get to keep treating them. You get to keep prescribing to them. You get to keep doing that. And so what we're talking about is not managing the symptoms of these disorders. We're talking about resolving them. We're talking about getting rid of them. And that's the amazing thing that people are not necessarily aware of or recognizing today, is that this creature that God created for us has the ability to heal itself. And when it receives the raw materials and is living the lifestyle that it should, it can repair, rebuild, maintain itself to a certain extent. And I'm not saying that if I get in a car accident, I don't want you to take me to the emergency. I do. When it comes to emergency care, our medical community is fantastic. They can do amazing things. But when it comes to chronic illness as a result of degenerative or deficiency type caused diseases, which is what all of these are on the screen, then they're just not solving that problem because they are masking the symptoms. They are giving you a prescription or a drug to attack or to address the symptomology, not the root cause. And so we're going to take just a few minutes here and talk more about a different approach to the health problem. But we're going to dive in first to understand the problem a little bit more. Some people say, well, we're just not spending enough money. Well, this graph here is to tell you we're spending more money than the other nations, and yet we are dying younger. We have a higher occurrence of disease. So it's not the money. It's not that we're not spending enough. That is not the solution. Others say, well, it's caused because of our diet. It's the junk food. It's the lack of exercise. It's the pollution. It's the prescription drugs, the immunizations, the chemicals, herbicides, pesticides on our crops, the GMOs, etc. Excuse me, et cetera, et cetera. And my answer to that is yes, probably. But it's not one in particular. It's all of these things combined. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. We can narrow it down to three main areas. Okay. We can talk about the incredible toxic load that people today are having to deal with that we didn't have to deal with in past generations. We can talk about the amount of inflammation. This is a new development that has happened that is at the root of all of these disease is this silent killer that affects every system in our body. And so inflammation has been dubbed the silent killer that's sweeping our country, and that can be a result of a number of things we'll talk about. And the other is digestive disorders. If we're not able to bring nutrients in through consumption, then unless we're putting them in through an IV, we're not getting any nutrients. The body can produce a certain amount of nutrients, but there are other nutrients our bodies have to consume or we get sick. Those are called essential nutrients. And when we don't get those essential nutrients, the body has to try and compensate in other ways, and we end up with tissues that aren't being rebuilt, repaired, maintained, and we end up getting sick. So we cannot get all we need from the food supply today because it's changed. So here you go. I told you they call it the silent killer. Look at that. Inflammation tied to heart attack, cancer, Alzheimer's, and more. They're talking about this coming epidemic of arthritis. How about this? High blood pressure, right? Is this something that we've heard about? Diabetes, 3 times as many diabetics today as just 30 years ago. Alzheimer's, massive increase, over 700% increase in the occurrence of Alzheimer's and early onset dementia. So what is the statistic that really is the most shocking? In 1990, now most of you here were alive in 1990. It's not that long ago, okay? In 1990, only 20% of adults suffered from chronic disease. Today, 60%. Now, this isn't, you can't say, well, that's because there's more adults today than there were then. No, this is adjusted because it's a percentage. We're saying 1/3 of the adult population, I'm sorry, 3 times as many of people in the adult population today have Alzheimer's as a percentage. So it used to be such a small fraction, and now it's the majority. And that's why the television's advertisements and others are all about these medications and drugs that they can sell and market to help reduce symptomology of all of these chronic illnesses. And most of these chronic illnesses don't come in singles. They come in pairs or even threes. And so that's why most people are suffering from 3 or more at the same time, because when you're deficient in a particular group of nutrients, there's a number of diseases that result from it. And that's what we're going to talk about. Some people say it's because of the junk food. Well, this is definitely a part of it. 62% of the US diet contains these highly processed foods. We're talking about preservatives, dyes, all of these things that make the food so it can last longer on the shelf, but unfortunately it makes it more inflammatory to our bodies. And so that could be one of the causes of this increase of inflammation. What does inflammation do to the body? Well, it's kind of like a traffic jam. If you've ever been in prime time traffic, right, to and from work, and you find that you can't move forward, you can't switch lanes, you can't get where you need to go. Well, that's kind of what inflammation is in the body. It puts undue pressure on all the tissues, the cardiovascular system, the muscular system, the skin. Every tissue in the body becomes overly stressed. You can't get good things into the cells. You can't get the bad out. It halts the movement of nutrients throughout the body, and toxins stay present in the body longer. And just like being stuck in a traffic jam, imagine if all the nutrients in your body were stuck in a traffic jam in your body. That's what inflammation does. And when inflamed tissue is continually used, let's say you inflame your knee, and you continually use that, you take some sort of an anti-inflammatory to bring the pain down and the inflammation down, but you continue to use it. Guess what? You wear it right out, and it actually breaks down faster. So this is a picture of a healthy intestinal lining at the top picture and an unhealthy one at the bottom. And what is the cause of this? Inflammation. It means that the person in that bottom picture has consumed things that that the intestinal lining found offensive, that were inflammatory, that irritated it. Those could be chemicals, they could be pollutants, they could be genetically modified foods, they could be the preservatives, the chemicals, the dyes that are in the processed foods today, et cetera, et cetera. It irritated the intestinal lining, and so these villi, which are the source for absorption, they swell up, they pinch each other off, they break off, they become destroyed. And then in the image you see there on the left, you see the little gaps between those villi. You see those yellow particles. Those are now finding their way in through the intestinal lining and into the bloodstream. And those are not prepared yet for digestion. And so then the body's immune system triggers, creates inflammatory response in the immune system, and you get autoimmune disorders. This process here is one called leaky gut, but it's also linked to the occurrence of irritable bowel and Crohn's disease, and all of these types of digestive disorders where we get the bloating and the gas and the irritation, the diarrhea, constipation. This is all a result of the inflammation that is occurring in the digestional system as a result of the food that we are consuming. Our foods are changing the gut biome. Therefore, we don't have the healthy bacteria to break down the food, and we're having to consume higher amounts of calories in order to get the essential nutrients that we need. Well, what happens when you consume more calories? Well, that's more sugars, that's more carbohydrates, and as a result, we struggle with huge weight gain and obesity in our country. We're leading the world in obesity, and part of the reason is that we're leading the world in chemicals, we're leading the world in chemical fertilizers, in herbicides, pesticides, all those types of things, genetically modified foods. And so as a result, our country is struggling, and research is showing that chronic inflammation may be the common factor in many diseases. Now, this isn't Todd Smith. This is Harvard Medical School telling us this. How about this? They're saying it's linked to Alzheimer's, arthritis, lupus, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, depression. Again, not Todd Smith, John Hopkins Health Review, telling us that inflammation is at the root and the common occurrence of all of these diseases. So as you can see here, it's becoming harder and harder for adults to stay and maintain at a healthy body weight, even more than just 20 to 30 years ago. And again, because of all of the processes that we've done, even in the fields, in the agricultural fields, the soils, the way we're treating the foods, the way we're processing the foods, the way we're storing the foods, on and on and on, it becomes harder and harder for our bodies to break down and absorb the nutrients out of it. Therefore, we have to consume higher quantities, and we continue to get more and more sick. And just one side effect of that is this obesity epidemic that we're struggling with. Okay, so now enough about the bad. Let's talk about the good. What can we do about it? Well, Top Shelf Nutra is here to help. Okay, that's honestly why Top Shelf Nutra exists, because you and I care about so many of the people that are around us that we love, and we want to have a place where we have solutions to these problems. What was the crux of the model for Top Shelf Nutra? Well, you're probably familiar with Costco or Sam's Club, where they set up a model where you become a member and now you can buy a larger quantity of high quality products at a lower price. Well, take that concept and combine that with the concept of Amazon Prime, where you have a membership and now you can order anything you want whenever you want and never pay shipping. So you're not trying to wait until you can order a muff in order to get it, to justify the shipping or anything. You know exactly what the product costs. You're not having shipping added on at the last minute. And because you're buying in larger quantities, you're able to get the greatest price available. That is Top Shelf Nutra. Best prices, highest quality, free shipping, and the opportunity to refer your friends and family to where you can get product discount credits to get your products for free. And also where you can, when you get a lot of those product discount credits, you can cash it out for a commission. So this can be one, just a way to get discounted products, free products, but it's also a way that you can actually build an income if you become one of the big advocates for Top Shelf Nutra. So what is it that is unique about this philosophy? Well, we have taken data from some of the longest lived cultures in the world, literally centuries and generations of health in these long lived cultures. They don't experience the same level of disease. They don't suffer like other nations. And we've taken that and combined it with the information we know from the medical community, as well as veterinary industry, naturopathic industry, osteopaths. These are the folks that understand what we're talking about. And we see in these longest lived cultures that they have regular daily natural sources of antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, phenolic compounds, detoxifying nutrients, and of course, the essential nutrients of minerals, vitamins, amino acids, essential fatty acids. And so what we are doing is we're saying, because these aren't in our food every day, you and I don't have these available in our American diet, we have to supplement. And so the concept is, how can we get the highest quality of the most beneficial nutrients into our bodies on a daily basis, and therefore be able to really buck the system as far as these statistics and become an outlier. We want you and your family and friends to become outliers to all these statistics that we're talking about. And the philosophy based on all this is that if you give your body what it needs, the body can do amazing things. We're not making any claims. Our products don't heal, treat, or cure any disease. What they do, they empower your body to do that. And it's based on the science of longest lived cultures that have been researched for generations. So we import very powerful compounds, potent compounds from a remote organic island in Fiji. We access some of the most powerful superfruits in the world. This one here, muscadine. Muscadine is uncomparable to anything. There is nothing that can compare. It's many, many times more potent than some of the more popular antioxidants and phenolic superfruits that you'll find in the planet. But this one beats them all. We take these kind of compounds and we combine them together in some amazing products that you can take on a daily basis. This one right here, this Sport and Go drink, I absolutely love it. I don't go a day without it. My family loves it. And it has all of these things in it. We're talking about essential nutrients, 77 minerals, the methylated B vitamins, your amino acids, and a number of things like muscadine and milk thistle and dandelion, ashwagandha. These are all powerful, powerful compounds. We also take that ginger, that turmeric, the muscadine, and the minerals, we put it in a capsule. And we have the GTM, ginger, turmeric, muscadine, and plant-derived minerals combined into these capsules. And if you do those two products, the Sport and Go and the GTM, on a daily basis, you have what these longest lived cultures have in their diet on a daily basis. That's what we're after. We're after long-lived, quality of life, healthy living. And you can do that by just these two products. That is our core. And we want everybody doing that every day so that your body has what it needs to repair and rebuild itself, and you're not having to live your life deficient. Now, if those are the core, why do we have all the other products? Because for many years, we've been deficient in many of these other ingredients, and we need extra in a particular area in order to overcome the disease. So these red ones here are for blood sugar. So if you are struggling with weight, if you are struggling with pre-diabetes or diabetes or any of these types of things. This is a blood sugar category. And these products in red, whoops, I went one too far, Vital Shake, Java Boost, ATP Balance. We can tell you more about those. And if you have questions, we'll do it in the Q&A at the end. But these products are meant to balance blood sugar, and they're taken in addition to the GTM and the Sport and Go. Now, if your struggle and your deficiency is in hard tissue, then we have the extra turmeric, bone and joint, the relax is coming soon. And these products are designed to help promote and support the hard tissue in the body. We're talking bones, the skeletal system, the muscular system, and the largest muscle in the body, the heart. That's this category. So if your disorder is in that area, that's the product that we'd recommend. The next color here is green, and this is digestion and immunity. Immunity and digestion go together. Generally, they'll tell you your gut is your second brain, right? And so if your digestive system is struggling, your immune system is struggling. And like I showed you in that diagram, if your digestive system is struggling and things are making their way into the bloodstream through the intestinal wall that shouldn't be, then your immune system becomes inflamed. And so that's why these two are very, very tied together. Our body is trying to sense and attack and prepare for anything that passes into our body through the digestive tract. So we've got the tea tree, the ginger, the lax, the detox tea. Love that detox tea. These are to support in that area. Now, you might be using some of those products that are in the petals here, and as you get better, you might not need them as much because the basic core of the GTM and the Sport and Go are covering you. But we have these products for that very reason. You can see here muscadine seed oil, Delo cream, EFA red. These are soft tissue. So now we're talking about skin. We're talking about the cardiovascular system. We're talking about the brain. We're talking about the nervous system because it's all related to myelin, right? Which is the sheath, the protective coating around all nerves. This is extremely important for somebody who suffered a stroke or has had any breakdown in the nervous system or the cardiovascular system. You've heard of diseases like MS and things like that. They need greater amounts of these particular nutrients. All right, I've probably hit on that enough. We're going to quickly go through each of these categories and just give you a minute to look at this. All of these chronic illnesses find themselves in the category of blood sugar disorders. So if your body's having trouble balancing blood sugar, you are likely going to find yourself with one or more of these conditions. Remember, we said that today people are experiencing more than one chronic illness. It's because they can be categorized. If you're deficient in a group of nutrients, it can reflect and show itself in many different ways. So these, as you look through that list, these are blood sugar disorders. And we have to understand there's literally hundreds of steps and processes the body has to do to effectively and efficiently balance blood sugar. And so that's why we have these products, Vital Shake, Java Boost, ATP, muscadine seed, and Sport and Go, to support the body in its efforts of balancing blood sugar. Next category is that hard tissue. And again, look at this list. Okay, some of you might say, oh, I thought it just had to do with arthritis. Well, no, it's much, much more. Yes, it is joint pain and arthritis, but it's everything from depression to tinnitus to tetany to receding gums. All of these find themselves in the hard tissue, again, skeletal muscular system, and it's a group of nutrients that when we're short or deficient in them, we end up with one or more of these health concerns. And the simple explanation is that it takes more than just calcium to make these tissues, right? There's over 60 nutrients needed to maintain healthy bones. And that list continues to grow as we learn more and more about these tissues. So we've got our bone and joint product, the turmeric, and coming soon, a product called Relax. So those are the hard tissue. The next category is digestion. And looking at this list, I'll bet you didn't know that all of these are digestive disorders. Some of them you recognize, some of them you're like, but did you know athlete's foot is a result of digestive problems? Did you know that jock itch, irritable bowel? You probably knew acid reflux. How about yeast infections, thrush? These are all digestive disorders, and the same deficiencies cause all of these. And so we have to understand you're not what you eat, you're what you absorb. Okay. And we already talked about the intestines, but this is an important part of the process. So what do we do? Well, right there at the top is that detox tea. I love this product. If you ever get bloating, belching, you constipation, irritable, any of those types of things, make up one of those cups of tea. Within minutes, it will start to soothe and calm, reduce inflammation. And it has that amazing clay in there, the calcium bentonite clay, which is very uniquely has some unique properties of where it binds with toxins. So whether they are chemicals, whether they are bacteria, viruses, any type of pathogen, this clay will bind with them and flush them out of the body without you even knowing. It doesn't disrupt anything. It's not harsh. It's very gentle, but it's wonderful. So the detox tea, the lax, the ginger, tea tree, wonderful micelized tea tree you put right in your mouth to boost your immunity, and of course our amazing muscadine, which we've talked about. All right, our last category is soft tissue. Now, I don't know if you were aware of this, but there are particular deficiencies as a result of what we've been told about our diet. If you know the food pyramid, we've been told fats are the very, very smallest amount that we should consume. And it's actually as a result of that communication, we're now suffering from all of these health conditions because fats are actually essential and we need good fats and we need larger amounts of them than what the dietary recommendations are. We've been told to eat egg whites instead of the yolks. We've been told to avoid any meats or fatty meats, and it's just not true, folks. We can actually link these diseases directly to the communication that we receive to eat a low-fat, low-cholesterol diet. Cholesterol is essential for the making of so many compounds in the body, including myelin for the brain and nerves, including all hormones. All sex hormones are made up of cholesterol and healthy fats. So look at those diseases and say, you know what? I think I have suffered from a result of listening too closely to what the medical community has told me. For generations, longest lived cultures have lived off eggs. Trust me, they were not taking the yolks out of them, and the eating healthy fats. And so if you are suffering from any of these, you're going to want to add some of these products to what you're doing. You want to increase the consumption of eggs and some selenium and antioxidants. You want the EFA red, you want the muscadine seed oil and the Delo cream that you can use topically. So again, as a review, remember the red products are the blood sugar, the blue are the hard tissue, the green are the digestion, and the yellow are the soft tissue disorders. And we start with GTM and Sport and Go at the core for everybody every day, and we add what we need as we go along. So let's cover some quick do's and don'ts and get to some questions. First of all, we should be consuming natural whole foods. We should consuming green leafy vegetables, high antioxidant auric foods. Nothing competes with the muscadine. It's the top of that chart. High protein and fat in our meals and snacks. Drink plenty of clean water. Avoid margarine, use butter instead. Avoid carbonated drinks during meal times. It neutralizes your stomach acid, makes it harder to break down and absorb nutrients. Avoid fried foods, especially those that are in vegetable oils. Processed meats with nitrates and nitrites, processed sugars, pesticides, and pollution. Take your products with your food. You'll get higher absorption because that's when your stomach acid is prepared. The enzymes have been secreted. The body is ready to break down and digest. And so just trick your body into thinking your food is healthy by adding your supplements. Take enough, okay? So many of the products in the world today are dosed according to age. If you're this old, take this much. If you're this old, take this much. And folks, you and I both know that age is not really a depictor of size. It can be, but much more so, we should be dosing our products according to body weight. And you all know that when you go buy dog food, you've got large breed, medium breed, small breed dog food. Same with every other type of animal in the agricultural world. you need to follow that. If you're a bigger specimen, you're going to need more supplements. Make sure you're absorbing. If you aren't seeing results, you're following what we're saying, you're avoiding the bad and you're increasing the good, and you're not seeing results, we need to talk about it, because you are either not absorbing or you're not taking enough. And so we gotta look a little deeper and figure out why, because this works. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. And the body knows what to do with these compounds. So how do you become a member of Top Shelf? Well, here is the standard process. We have had a special going on this month, a September to Remember, where we're actually putting an extra $25 of PDCs in the account of everyone who refers somebody new. So congratulations to all those who referred new members to the family this month. We've got a few days left. Take advantage of it. That means that you refer somebody for the monthly program, you get an extra $25 in PDCs. If you refer somebody to the annual membership, where you already would get 25 and they get 30, you get an additional 25 for a total of 50. And this, I just put it up here because Kurt called me just before we started. That's why I was a little late getting on. This is the Kurt Elder special. He said, let's really make it a September to Remember, and let's reward our friends who got on this Zoom today. Okay, so you folks, here is a special. It's only available through the end of the month. Yes, you can call your friends and family and tell them about it as well, but any order that goes in between now and close of business, let's say midnight on Monday, so then just the last 3 days of the month, every order gets a free muscadine seed oil. Okay, every order will get one of those. So place your orders this last few days. This is the Kurt Elder special that he came up with, and so I wanted to add that to the slide real quick so that you all know any orders that come in today, tomorrow, or Monday will get a free bottle of that muscadine seed oil, which is an amazing, amazing value. All right. I appreciate you all sticking with me. I took a little bit more time than planned, but I wanted to cover all that as a preview for us to now answer some questions. So I'm going to stop my share and open up the